Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start live stream. Like always, this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. And we'll just jump into things. Here we go. So just as people join, a quick recap on the market. So last video we were looking for some fours and fives. What we did is got an extension in three. We almost erased divergence here to even call this another 1-2. So right now it's still just a wave 5 in the SPY that may have already ended on Friday, where we get a bigger pullback early next week and we actually go into CPI set up for potential 3 of 3 moment. I think everyone's so scared CPI is going to crash the market, but actually CPI is set up to launch the market, believe it or not, based on the charts I'm seeing, if we can sell into that news. Now, I would admit if we trade higher into that news, then the market is at risk for a pretty big pullback. So we'll need to see where we are with things going into that news event. Dow Jones, massive extension in wave 3. We took out the RSI peak. This is a huge wave 3 extension. This should be finishing up, but it doesn't look like the wave count is over just yet, like I see in the SPY. The triple Qs look like it may be done its fifth wave, pulling back in wave 2, like I showed earlier. And that looks like the case, and we swing back down to 437, and then we can come out, and we made an inverse head and shoulders continuation pattern here. That's what we're looking for. We go into the CPI news on the right, this right shoulder area, or the right here on this inverse head and shoulders here, and then we're out. So again, do you want to be super bearish? I don't think so. I keep saying that. I don't care about the B wave. I don't care about, a double correction. I just am looking for good setups and riding this thing. And the Russell, maybe one more high and then a bigger pullback. I could easily do something like this and then pull back now. So it just depends. So that is what I am seeing. Looks like a pullback for the most part into the news event. News event is set up for upside. We need, of course, nothing's guaranteed. So, there could be a surprise and maybe people get the crash they want, but you are looking at some 5-wave sequences off the low here. 5 waves off the low. The Dow Jones clearly impulsive, especially if we could take this high out. So even if we got a pullback and we pull back more on CPI, I do believe these lows will hold here and here. So, but it will create great opportunities if we can get that. So that's the market. So let's go to your questions, guys. Okay, Donald, thanks for the 10. I'll go into your questions. Chevron, Coinbase, and Disney. Yeah, so oil, the forecast Chevron, you need to really understand where oil is going. And so far, it has not shown any signs of life. And in fact, it looks for a 3 of 3 breakdown moment. Again, CPI may be more detrimental than we think in terms of recession indicator. What if it's super low or even negative? And no one's prepared, oil will massively sell off. And so I think we got to be careful with the CPI print coming in. Now, if the CPI is really hot, I guarantee you oil will pump, and this wave 2 will make another swing higher. So if that's the case, Chevron will probably do the same thing. So really, until we get oil out of this in the area of indecision, and again, oil could still go up to $81, $82 here. Until we could get this area, until the bulls can take out 88 on oil, Chevron is really just going to be in a bear trend with a lot of chop, and all the producers are. And that's the way I see it here. And so, again, Chevron is in the sell area, and as long as it holds 160, once it's below 167.35, it should continue lower, and you're back in this bear wedge. So what happens if we take out 168? So we need to look at our cycles and see where we are with the cycle, and just take a look. We'll have to go to the daily cycle here. So as you could see, this wedge really has, I mean, you could call that a break here of that wedge, but I want to see the daily really reset. And before you could say you have a new cycle higher, the daily needs to take out this. So even if the daily does come out, I would still call it the same cycle. This is the same cycle, and we would just extend the higher degree wave too. So it's really tough, but this is a sell area, and ultimately it's trading against oil. There's no way Chevron can pump if oil is going to crash. This is not happening. So that's the setup. Now, if oil can go back to 88, then this will negate. And the first sign would be breaking like 173. Okay, Coinbase is probably got a double correction coming based on what we saw in Bitcoin on Friday. So I still had this chart from our last Coinbase update, a pump and a failure. We may actually already have the B leg, and we may be heading down given Bitcoin's chart, and that's how I would look at it. So there is a buy area now in Coinbase that we could show here at 151.62, right in this area. 151, 131, this area for a wave 2 correcting the whole cycle, and that's what we've expected we should be doing. So that's that. And then Disney, let's take a look at Disney. Disney's in the buy area right now from this flat. So we had a flat here. We called that on my channel not to chase this move, and we got it. But the flat isn't over. One more dip lower because you need 5 waves down. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. We need one more down. So somewhere around 100, 102. Now you're in this gap. Maybe it even fills the gap down to 99. But this should find support and come out of the correction for another move higher. Something like that. So that's how I would look at Disney. Thanks for the 10. All right, let's go to the next super chat. Mitso, Intel. Let's go to Intel here. Intel is in the buy area. Now it did go lower, which is okay, but it's a way to manage your risk. So you may want to stop out because typically when you get this extension, you usually get a bounce and failure. So I do expect a bounce at any moment in Intel, a healthy bounce, but don't be surprised if it doesn't come back lower later and chop around because you got this extension. There's a likely path that it does something like this that I'm showing, but honestly, it should bounce at any moment. Looking at it here, you have 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the bullish divergence on the daily. So yeah, any moment it should be reversing at any moment. Of course, it needs to hold 2481. And what happens if it doesn't do that? It will accelerate lower, and then it's in a very bad situation technically because you have 3 waves down, a connector, and you're running out of room to the downside. So I would have to change this to like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulse, and then it would bounce and then just keep going lower. And the target would be $18 if it breaks this low. If it breaks this low. And it wouldn't be good for it would pretty much not be an investable stock anymore for me. it would be just basically, yes, there'll be swings in this that go up and down, but after 10 or 20 years, you'll basically make no money. So it really needs to hold this to resume the bull market and break its all-time highs. It's got to find support here. YNN keeps going higher, like we've talked about on my channel so many times, and there really is no reason for it to pull back any. So we continue higher. We took out this peak on divergence here, so that's interesting. We do have a little bit of bearish divergence between these two peaks on the 4-hour. So I could label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, but I'm going to take this view a little more aggressive here and call it in 3. I'm not going to label the subdivisions because there's too many permutations on what it could be. I believe it's extending because the Hang Seng shows a clear two-wave structure here. 1, 2, you have massive RSI reset, and you came out here. So my thinking is we're in a wave 3. And that makes sense because the dollar index should be showing weakness soon for its wave 3 of 3 moment. See, we haven't had a 3 of 3 moment. The dollar's been going down, but this is just 1, 2s, 1, 2s, chopping around. This could also be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and come up. But at some point, we're going to get a wave 3 moment in the dollar to the downside, and that's going to be rocket fuel for the Hang Seng China emerging market trade. And you better believe you want to be in YNN and all BABA and all those stocks when that happens. Now, when that is done, that when the dollar index is down here, then it's probably time to start taking profit in those trades. Even though I still predict the dollar index is going to go even lower. But I do think here there's no reason to really worry about it. But could it pull back? Sure, it could pull back. Maybe it's even a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and it pulls back, but I don't really care. I have the big picture in mind, the big picture, the 4-hour cycle, the daily cycle. I don't care about the chop in these trades. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, and then BABA is, let's see, where was BABA at last time I looked at it? BABA finished its wave 2 just like the Hang Seng I expect here, and we should be getting a 3 of 3 moment in BABA. There's always a chance it double corrects though. Keep in mind that can happen. We don't have really a lot of divergence here, so I think it's a 3-wave move down here, not 5. But just in case it is, just in case it double corrects, there's a $76, $75 buy in BABA here for wave 2. But I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so you have to do what's best for you on that trade. And that's how I look at it here. And that's, you see the correction. You can see here's your wave 3, 4, 5. And you go, well, where's your wave 1 and 2? It was just a really tight 1, 2 right here. I'm sorry, right here, right in this area. So that's how I look at it right now. Yeah, I mean, even looking at this chart, I would call it. I'm just going to label it this way for now, because you do have a peak that's higher here. So actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how to label this. And now we're back down. Okay, thanks for the 5 Mitso. Let's go to Joe for 10. Let's take a look at Berkshire Hathaway. I've heard financials have been doing pretty good lately. So Berkshire Hathaway finally hit its grand super cycle area where it could be in danger. Remember, he loaded up on energy. He's dumping Apple, right? But he has still a lot of Apple, but he has a lot of energy. And if energy is going to be weak, he may get punished for that move. And if Apple's going to be strong, he may not make as much as he would have wished he would have. And I don't understand all his portfolio, but let's take a look at what we've got going on here. So the weekly cycle is interesting. That peak right here did take this divergence out. So we are extended. And actually, I'm glad to see that because more than likely when Berkshire peaks, the market grand super cycle's over, right? Because his stock is stereotypical of the grand super cycle, right? Because I mean, you know, that is the grand super cycle. So we're in this count now because we took out the divergence. There's your first swing, your first 1, 2, and then maybe that's a 3, 4. And again, it could just keep extending. It could just keep extending. But there's more upside to be had as we finish wave 5. Now let's look at the bigger cycle to see if we took this peak out. We haven't. Okay, so we're in Berkshire Hathaway is in Grand Super Cycle Wave 5 still. And I don't know why TradingView messing up my charts here, but whatever. But basically, this is the count that I'm looking at. So more upside, and then unfortunately, by definition, when the grand super cycle and the indices crash, Warren Buffett will crash with it. He won't be supporting the market because he is the grand super. I mean, he represents that investor base. So something will go wrong where even he will lose a ton of money, which maybe he'll be cool with, but he won't dodge this correction that's coming. There'll be no one to save him. The government won't be there to bail him out, and there is no other Warren Buffett to bail him out. So this will end, and we all will feel the pain as it drops. That's what will happen. So let's go to your next one, Visa. Some interesting stocks we don't normally chart on our channel. Let's take a look here. Visa, the same thing. Looks like it's an interesting. We have to go to the quarterly chart on this here. So it looks like that's the first cycle down right there. That's the 1, that's the 2. And then we're coming out. Very interesting chart. Yeah, I won't label the other waves for sake of time, but so I would label this as a wave 2, and it looks like this impulse should be coming to an end soon. That's got to be the peak of wave 3 right there because it's just so extended. And then there's your 1. Yeah, so I look at this as like just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should pull back and then come out later. The other possibility is we're still in wave. Now this is the crash possibility that we're still in wave 2. This is another alternative to this view that we could get that, right? Something like that. So to negate that, we need to take this high out, and I think it's gone too far. No, it hasn't. It could do that. So the flat is in play because of this irregular bottom. This is not a right bottom. That's not a good bottom. So I think you need to be careful. And this was really shallow given the entire move, right? And then if we did say that this was a 3 of 3, that contradicts the indice forecast. So I bet this is a flat of some kind that's going to play out and do something like that. Just what I'm thinking. If it does take that out, then this is negated Then it's negated, and then it still will pull back, but it should find support and come out of it, the correction. All right, next is ITW, Illinois Tool Works. Okay, must be some kind of industrial play. Have to go to the monthly. There's your 1, 2. There's your 3, 4, 5. I think it's hit. I think it's peaked. I think it's peaked and should be pulling back in the grand super cycle. It looks like it's peaked. Looks like it's peaked. Maybe I mean, it's possible it could make one more high, but I don't. I'm willing to bet it isn't going to do that. It's on borrowed time. It's on borrowed time. It looks like it's already ended the cycle. So yeah, I would say it's on borrowed time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's already peaked, but it should have a pretty significant decline coming soon as this wedge ends. Right? It's not perfect, but you get the idea. At some point that ends, and then it's boom, game over. Okay, next is COP, which is I think Capital One. Oh no, that's COF. COP is an oil company. Yeah. ConocoPhillips. We had this very bullish forecast, but looking at where energy is going to go, I don't think this is a good forecast to stand behind. Let's take a look at it. You know, it's not negated. It's not negated. It's very interesting. It's either going to do a flat or it's going to do it's got a whatever is going to happen here, you got a massive move coming. A massive move coming. And the way I look at this right now is I'd probably label this, I'd probably change the label in just a little bit to match the oil chart a little better. Something like this. But we really have to watch oil. You see there's no divergence. This is a three-wave move. Even on the daily. So this is what I think it's going to morph into. With an eventual target of potentially $82, which is the wave 4 low. Okay. URI. URI looks like to me it's got a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, 4, 5. Now what's interesting is we never took this peak out, so we're probably going to extend. So more than likely that's not a wave 5. So it should just continue to extend until the RSI takes that out. So there's a lot more upside coming. So I would say pullbacks should be bought in the three-way move. And it may already be done here in this 4. If for some reason it isn't, there's a buy here. There's a buy at 601, 575 for more upside. It could do that, but it more than likely is finished. It should be heading up in a wave 5. As you can see, a lot of 4s and 5s. This should continue to extend higher. Okay, then race. Race is pulling back in this wave 4. And we have a buy opportunity maybe next week in this. May have already hit it, 397.54. There's a chance it may already be finished, but it should finish this wave 4 right around here for continue higher. And then Lindy. So Lindy is interesting. It had a small bounce and made a very small connector wave. So now it took another leg lower. So that's always a warning sign that's a higher degree correction. Here, and then we got a bigger bounce. You see that capitulation. So that C is finished here. We never got deep enough, so I actually think we must be in a much higher degree correction that's going to do something like that. And I'm looking for, let's take a look here where we are on our cycle. It looks like to me it's another 1-2 setup. Another 1-2. This is a great opportunity. Maybe at 381 between the 4 and the 2. I'm assuming this isn't the shortest wave, but we'd have to calculate that. Let's take a look. Yeah, see, we erased divergence. That's not the right way to label that. Here, look at that. So we corrected a bigger cycle. We're going to have to take another look at our wave 5. So here let's go to the monthly. Yeah, let's take another look at this cycle. Yeah, and it's another 1-2. One, two, 1-2. It's got to be that. It's got to be that. And then here, we're still in this wave 3. Yeah, let's take a look here. No divergence. I'd be really surprised. This is too big for a flat correction. 1, 2. Broke the high here. We're just going to have to, I won't subdivide it. I'm just going to have to use the RSIs. Somewhere there's a 4 and a 5 that happened, and we're in this wave 2. But I do think I'll have more upside. We have not had the wave 3 of 3 moment yet in it. And because it's in a higher degree too, that's why it went lower, and we should bounce and more than likely fail again. But this looks like the low here, and you reset the cycle. So could this be two? It's possible, but most likely case is it isn't, and it's going to bounce and fail again. That's the most likely path, but you can't rule out the two's finished. So yeah, I just had this had to look at this chart differently to get it right. And the reason we haven't taken out this peak, so we haven't finished wave 3. So this is good for long-term investors, especially if we can get a bounce like this and a pullback later in the year. But like I said, it may not happen. It may not happen, but keep an eye on it. Okay, Lindy is done, and thanks for the 10. I'll go to the next super chat. I'll get to all the super chats like I normally do. Anonymous for 20. Thanks for the 20. Yeah, Dio is in an area you could start buying that for a trade in on the daily cycle, not the 45-minute cycle, guys. I know some people are like, oh, you said buy it and it went down, you're a dummy. And I'm like, well, I'm not a day trader. As you know, I've always told people, if you're a day trader, you shouldn't follow me. I'm more of I swing trade more on the daily cycle or sometimes the 4-hour. But this is a daily cycle swing trade. So here you have 3 waves, a connector, you broke the low. It seems to be following Tesla, like trading with Tesla's cycle. So it probably will continue lower, but this is an area to start to buy it against the low here at 357. We're looking for this inverse head and shoulders to finish and out. And you have a massive wedge too, right? That's breaking out from a massive downtrend. So I expect more upside. Now, I do think there's worry that at some point it's going to fail and break the lows. So I don't know for sure, but this is how I look at the cycle. I think right now this is an area where you could start to buy it. You could pinpoint your entry at 450. I pinpointed mine at 508. So wherever you're comfortable with, but the stop loss is at 362. And I can be wrong, so do what's best for you on that. Bitcoin double corrected. And I mentioned in my channel, if Bitcoin was going to go into it and come out of this, the market was going to have to surge, right? It didn't make sense. So now it's synced up with the market, so it double corrected. So Bitcoin should be coming back down to 58,744. It's in this wave 2 right now, and it should pull back like I have here. Now, I do want to point out you did pretty much bottom out on the RSI on the 45-minute, but not on the 4-hour. So that's why I do think we should pull back. Now, there is a chance we could still be in B and get like an A, B, C, come back, rip up to 64,000 again, and then take a really bad dump down. So this area is day trader battles. I would like to be on the sidelines, and you could buy it here against this low at 56.6 or wait. So that's the setup here. But that's how I look at Bitcoin at the moment. BCHG is just I think the last time I looked at it, it's probably just going to follow Bitcoin right down, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if the B is actually in now, but until this chart's negated, I still would look for this, and this would just be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then out. And then LTCN here, if I can find it. I wonder if I moved it. Oh, there it is. Continuing lower like we expected, right? It's in Y, so there's your first leg, right? There's your first leg in Y. And now you need your last leg. something like that, for a buy at, 16, 15 bucks, hopefully. If this happens, this is a good buy, guys, because this is a clear three-wave setup, very clear three-wave setup. So this is a good trade, or potentially a hold if you want to hold it, for a while. But if this can happen, just like I have it here, great opportunity to get in here. Now, again, it could change this because we're in this connector area, and it's hard to forecast connectors, which is why I always sideline on the connectors. But we'll keep an eye on it and see if this can happen. And then the actual coins. We have Bitcoin Cash heading down to 296, and it should be starting its journey down there, given where Bitcoin's going. So head and shoulders, right? Breaks. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. Now, yeah, I still think that's the play on Bitcoin Cash. No changes to that. And then Litecoin. So Litecoin's in a different situation now. You have this 1-2-1-2 setup, but if this breaks, you have a connector. It's going to come back and retest this low at 57, but it could. So I think you got to be careful in Litecoin. I don't want to even label this because it could easily do a double bottom here and do that. And given where Bitcoin is and where everything else in crypto is going, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. So I would just be very careful, like in Litecoin. Like I would not want to like FOMO in on it. Now, perhaps we get a little bit of a pump, and then we do something like this later. Like I said, this is very difficult to label, so I won't label this. I'll just leave it at that. The market hasn't decided what it wants to do. But if we take out 70, it can go a lot lower. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. It could easily take out 57, right? It can easily take out 57. And then you only have 3. So if it takes out 57, it's going to head to 30. So I just say Litecoin's at a do or die moment. Technically, it's at a do and die moment. Are we going to get a flat and it crashes to $20? Or are we going to get a mega pump and this thing is going to go all the way back up to all-time highs? I think Litecoin is at a major inflection point of a decision like that coming. And I just can't. I wish I could tell the future, but I can't. So we just don't know. But you need to be prepared for a big move, I think, soon in this thing. Okay. Looks like I got another 10 from you, Anonymous. MIGI. Like I said, crypto, if Bitcoin's pulling back, these are pulling back, right? These are mostly pulling back here. So let's take a look at what happened here. So we continued. We're actually still in the same cycle. I was looking for that counter trend. We never got that. So really the B wave is here. Let's take a look actually on the RSI. We'll put it here. It's right there. Label it as so it's just morphed. The corrective structure morphed. This looks like it's got a little more downside, but not much more. Let's take a look. There's a potential buy opportunity because the structure turned into this. Let's take a look. It looks like it's going to try to double bottom here. Yeah, it's going to double bottom. So you're just going to have to go get down as comfortable, but it really needs to hold 85 cents. If it can't do that, then it's pretty much game over because this whole cycle was corrected by that pump, and I wouldn't want to trade it anymore. The bull opportunity is lost if this low breaks. So I would look at it that way. CLSK. We hit our short area, nailed that, right? Look at that, guys. Totally got that right. Bam! What a nice short. Now it missed our target, but then again, it may not have missed it. It's still in play. It's just taking a while to get there. So I think if you're in this, you just be patient. You just want to be patient in this thing. Not buy it yet. Not buy it yet. But I believe this is where we're heading with it. Something like that. I like it here. I like it there. Now, is there a chance that's the bottom? Let's take a look at the waves. Three waves. Three waves. So I think the trend is lower. So I think the trend's lower. So I personally don't think this is the bottom. So anyway, so we've done well in this one. We've done pretty well in this one, trading it. So I do like this area right here, $10. That'd be a nice opportunity under 10 to get it. Okay, BT, it broke the low. We have our target at 121. So we're still looking to get there. It's just, it's just taking time to get down there. So I would just be patient. Looking for a double bottom. If this double bottoms, depending on where Bitcoin's trading, this could be a tremendous opportunity for massive gains. Right? Imagine if this is a double bottom out and we could get it under $1 or $1, and this could get out 5, 6, more than likely $12. Like, this is great. This is a great potential. So just keep an eye on it. Now, of course, we break that low, it's over. It negates the opportunity. Okay, that's it. Thanks again, Anonymous. Let's see if I have any other super chats. I do. Megan, thanks for the 20, Megan. So, like Bitcoin, Robinhood decided to double correct, but that's your gain. Someone else is selling because they don't know what's going on. But we do. I will personally, I like to buy more of it when it hits the new target. So we have this connector. The new target is 1534. 1436. So it's just it's correcting this entire cycle in a three-wave move in a WXY. Okay, so it's just like you're just gonna have to be patient with it. But I like to buy it in here. I like to buy it in here, this area. Okay, so then PayPal. PayPal is it hit our buy area. Look at that. It hit our buy area on this 1-2. So PayPal is a high reward, low risk play. You could buy it at right now at 62.90 and stop out at 61.75 to either get a massive wave 3 or you just stop out for a minimal loss. If this breaks, then this turned into a flat correction with a three-wave move, and it will head to a different target area. I'd be looking for 59.62, 56.19. So it's tough to say what it's going to do, given the chart of Bitcoin, the market in general. I don't see it bouncing unless there's some company-specific news that gets people excited. I would say more than likely the flat is in play to 59. But you'll have to do what's best for you. Baidu, let's take a look how that one is doing. Baidu, I warned people about this extended fifth, and we could come all the way back down to 103. I think that's where it's headed in a double correction. This looks like an ABC. This looks like an ABC correction. And That should be wave 2. And then GDXJ. GDXJ has been holding up well, right? We called the bottom here early, very bullish. We should have gone deeper. We didn't. So people want to buy this. We get a 1 2 1 2 1 2. We get our 3. So we should be extending this in some 4s and 5s soon. So this cycle should end soon. We should get a bigger pullback and then get some really good upside. So that's what I'm looking for, but I can't rule out that this is another 1 2 and we just go vertical. Okay, so I can't rule that out. The other possibility, again, this is possible. Here you have 3 waves, right? And you have 3. So there's a chance that we make one more high and then we double correct lower all the way back down to somewhere around 38.50. But I don't think that's going to happen given the consolidation and everything else that's going on with the dollar index. That would be really bearish, and that would be some really big dollar strength, and rates would have to really move higher to drop this thing like that. So I think this is the count for now, but more upside. All right, thanks for the 20. All right, Reynaldo for 5. All right, Tesla here. Yeah, let's take a look at Tesla and see how we do it. Tesla here. Target is 164. This is on my shopping list next week, guys. I was looking for this. I got the confirmation of the low, the first pullback. I want to take a piece of that. And in fact, I almost bought it on Friday just for the hell of it, because honestly, do I care if I buy it at 168 or 159? I don't really care if it's trading at $300. I could care less, because that's the bigger picture I have in mind. And really a few dollars, the stop is 138. So you have to trade your own trade-in plan. I do like Tesla here in this area. I even like TSLL at $6.55. Especially if we get a 3 of 3 in Tesla. If we could get TSLL in the $6, high $5 area, somewhere in this area, there could be some massive gain opportunities. Again, stop loss is at pretty much like 497 here. So I do like it. The setup is good. Of course, we break that low at 138. The setup's lost, and Tesla's going to go much lower, unfortunately. But right now, this is the setup. That's the play. Okay, next, I got another super chat from Alex. Do you see gold as the only place to store cash at the end of their cycle, given the banks and stuff? Gold, so gold's been interesting, and the financial crisis and everything else, gold always gets hit, because gold's, deflationary. If the market crashes, right, the financial system crashes, that's a deflationary. That's deflationary, and gold gets hit, right? Gold doesn't protect you. Now it doesn't maybe go down as much, and it usually rebounds quicker. But like we could go back. Let's go back to the financial crisis here of 2009. Gold hit 1,000, and we correct it to 682. This was, they thought during this candle of gold, when it went from 900 to 681, they thought the financial system was going extinct. The ATMs weren't going to work anymore. It was the biggest financial crisis that I've ever seen in my life, that anyone had ever seen in their life since the Great Depression, and gold crashed. So I think that tells you your answer. Gold will go down in a deflationary event like that. The only time gold protects you is hyperinflation, dollar collapse. They printed too much money. Everyone loses confidence in the dollar. They don't want it anymore. The BRICS nations dump it. The dollar is trash. Gold will protect you in that situation. So it's like pick your battle. Gold protects you in geopolitical risk, constitutional crisis, right? Two presidents that won't concede, country split, you know, default on the national debt. Well, guess what? The dollar won't be, the confidence in the dollar will be shaken because the dollar represents the nation behind it. So gold will surge. So that's where gold comes in, guys. That's the situations. Gold skyrockets. Gold crashes in and if I believe in a financial crisis, Great Depression, banks go under, and there's deflationary collapse, and the feds don't print, they let it happen. There's no money printing. They're like, the government goes bankrupt, and there's going to be no printed money to get out of it. It's going to be, everyone has to raise taxes and austerity, right? Remember austerity. If that's the answer, then gold's going to get annihilated with everything else. All these assets, it will be that's where the Dow goes to like 6,000 again, guys. That's the scenario you may read about on some of these other websites you follow, that scenario. But I believe the Fed won't do that scenario. I believe the Fed and the government will just, if they have to make a choice, they'll just print and inflate their way out of the problem, debase the dollar, steal the money from the savers. Apple's like, I'm so smart. I have 100, whatever, $1 billion of cash. Warren Buffett, I'm so smart. I have all this cash. Well, the government's coming for that cash through inflation and money printing. And if they don't have that cash protected, it's going to be worth a lot less in the next 20 years. So I think they're fools for keeping cash like that right now, because I believe the government will print, will do inflation to get out of the predicament they're in. They have so much debt. It's going to have to do that. And watch, they'll be changing the CPI formula again before you know it. That's what's going to happen, guys. There's no way they're going to be like, tell the American public, austerity. Everyone's taxes are going up. Everyone's got to pay. Unemployment will have to go. Like, they'll never do that, because they did that in the Great Depression. And that's, even though it's 100 years ago, people do remember that still. You can watch the news clips. So no one wants this. So they're going to print their way out of it. And that's going to be deflationary for the dollar. And it's going to be hyperinflationary in some ways. And then if you throw in, constitutional crisis and government, trying to print, figure out how to, what to fund, and there's no more Social Security payments or whatever, they're going to inflate. And this is where it's going. So I think gold is good, and the chart of gold is telling you that. Gold made all-time highs. It came out of a cup and handle from, God knows where. 11, so 15-year cup and handle broke out, and you're just going to get a couple $100. Yeah, I almost guarantee you that's not going to happen. Gold's going to be $10,000 an ounce. I'm almost certain in the next 15 or 20 years. That's why I like the GDXJ and other stuff, and gold itself. I like the precious metals, guys, because I think the market is telling you where we're heading. They're going to inflate their way out of this predicament. That's the way it's going. Because it's too painful. Deflation's too painful. That's the long answer. Okay, well, iSeeker, let's go to yours. Crypto token, some crypto tokens here. Let's take a look at these here. I think this one we talked about already. So we're in a wave 2. So it double corrected in a flat. And you also broke back into consolidation. That's not really healthy, right? So I'd be looking for this target area at 7918 right here, right there. So that wave 2 should come to an end somewhere in that area. The next one is Rose. Rose here. So let's take a look at what we had here. So we did have the B wave. It just extended. So I'm still looking for a C. The question is, are we still in B or not? Yeah, we're still in B. Okay, so I do think B will extend. This looks like an impulse off the low. So we need a 3-wave move down. And you got it. So right here. So as long as it's above this 7.4, it should be good to go. Now, if we break it, this is a connector, and it's going to come all the way back down. So I think it really has to hold this for this look to stay intact. But do what's best for you on that. Rune coin, let's see here. We don't have Rune unless it's down in these areas. Yeah, we don't have Rune. Rune. Okay, so to me that looks like an impulse off the low with an extended fifth. Extended fifths are very common in crypto, which create very big corrections. So that's always a warning sign. Like you see that extended fifth is like, okay, time to get out. So I wouldn't be surprised if this breaks down another leg, takes another leg lower. So looking at it, this is a tough area. I think I'd like to buy it at 3.2, at $3.20. But you can't rule out, you can't rule out the bottom's already in. So it's very tough to trade this. This was the buy area right here. So I would say there's a chance the bottom's already in. But I think personally, I think it's going to go a little bit higher and then take another leg lower. Okay. And LPT, you said it's a crypto token too. Looks like, again, we have that nice three-leg move off the low with a nice impulse. Oh, yeah. So this one looks like this one is a more convincing bottom than the other ones are. Yeah, maybe something like this. One, two, three. So yeah, I would say that this is two. So this one could be getting ready for a three moment. Could be ready for a massive pump. It looks like it's already up 7%. This one may be ready to, especially if it could take out 2038. If it takes that out, it's going to really move. So this one looks a lot more healthy than the other ones you just mentioned to me. The other ones look a little more suspect. But you'll have to figure out what you want to do. Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, this could be also a 1-2, 1-2. So I don't know but that's the setup. So that's a pretty good setup if that's the case. That's the case. All right. Thanks for the 5. Okay, so let's go back to questions. Let me see if I got all the super chats. I think I did. Okay. Let's go back to the beginning here. Bombing. All right, all the way back to the beginning. Roblox. I heard Roblox got destroyed on earnings. I heard that got blown up. I heard that got blown up. That's too bad, right? Let's take a look at what we had going on with Roblox. So we did have the 5 up. So yeah, it's we get rid of this triangle. That's meaningless now. So Roblox, we've done okay in it. We did predict the top here. Now you have 3 and a connector with divergence. So actually it's a flat. This is going to be a flat. So we're looking for this wave 2 to end. More than likely it will find support soon at 24. It's just not there yet. It's just not there yet. It needs like a 4 and a 5, you know. It needs more. I personally think it needs more time to play out. But again, if you really want to invest in it, this is probably the area to start buying it for an eventual wave 3 out of this at some point. Of course, if it breaks 24, then it's game over for this company. Stock chart. Maybe not the company, but the chart. All right, AAOI is Applied Electronics. Let's take a look here. So we had this wave 3. Looks like that played out. We had the 4 and we had the 5. Okay, so our chart played out. Now we pulled back. There's your connector. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it should be finishing up its correction pretty soon. All right, this is a potential buy opportunity. Let's take a look. That's too deep. That's too deep. Yeah. Yeah, this actually isn't a connector. It never connected. So this is, as you can see, there's your connector here. So it's forming a connector here, right here. I think looking at the chart, this is probably the low right here. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So I would just say that for right now, that's what I'd be looking for. Now, if we start going lower, then wave 2 is just coming down. So but I think it's got to have more upside. It's got to have a bigger counter trend rally at least, even if it's going to double correct. But I'd be careful in it. But it does look like the correction's over. Yeah, the correction's over. So this has to hold. This low has to hold here at 962. So if you're trading it, you really have to hope that low holds. If it doesn't, then you've got a W, X, Y, and it's going to go much lower, and it's going to come all the way back down into these areas, the $5, $4 area. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. And again, we seem to be trading this one. This one we've been doing pretty good in. Whoops. We'll get rid of that. We'll just call that there. Okay. Yeah, you know, the weekly cycle, it would be nice to have it go lower. Here's my guess. My guess is, again, we should be bouncing, but my guess is it's a bounce and a failure coming. My guess is it's a bounce and a failure. This is my guess, because we're correcting like the whole cycle. Okay. All right, let's take a look. I got some more super chats coming in. Crypto Mickey, thanks again for the 10. Yeah, if it breaks that, we've got this is where we have to see the market for what it is, not what we wish it to be. You know what I mean? Is it super bearish? Yeah, it's bearish. Is it super? There's a possibility. I would want to see some other things before, because here, look, guys, we haven't taken this high out, so we only have 3 waves up, which means we still have a corrective structure up. That means the double top's in play still. We never negated the double top in Bitcoin, right? The double top in Bitcoin. Now, if that happens, the indices are going to get hit hard, and the dollar index should rise substantially, right? We should see all that happen too. So, but if that low breaks, the target would be 48,000, 44,000. So if this low breaks, we'll double correct down into this area. And I personally would be a buyer to add to my long-term positions here in this area if it did that. But then I'm not looking for a double top. I would be looking for something else in the count. What I would probably call this is I would have to put the 1 here and the 2 here, and then just relabel the wave count. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we got an extended 5th, and we just retrace it. Again, that's why the waves is sometimes not an exact science. It's not perfect. But this is how I would trade it. Now, the double top is here's your A, B, and C, and Bitcoin goes to 8,000. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's happening. But can you roll it out? No, you can't. You really can't, right? So so at some point you have to have really good risk management here because you can't roll it out, right? I don't know. I can't. Like I said, we can't predict the future. All we know is if we do break this low, we should continue lower into this area. Okay, but as long as it holds, there's really nothing to worry about. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens. What does the market want to do? I still think this is the count. If Bitcoin's going to break down like that, I more than likely think the dollar index is going to do is not going to do this. It will rip higher, and more than likely, if that's ripping higher, that means interest rates also rip. It means the market is going to have a meltdown, guys. That's the scenario. That's the scenario, right? But we'll have to wait and see. So, but we also have 5 up, right? This is 5 up. So that also gives you confidence that that won't happen because it's not 3 up, right? It's 5 up here. Okay. GME. Yeah, how did that go? I think we had some GME questions the other day, and I think we showed that wave 4, right? And we said wave 5. We got wave 5. So if you guys followed my channel, you probably made a lot of money on that, right? Well, now wave 5 is over, as I always say. Yeah, so I'm looking for that to break. But, honestly, I mean, it could extend. I mean, I don't know, right? This GameStop's crazy, and I told you we finished the whole move is over. So God knows, maybe it will just keep going up. I mean, honestly, I can't tell you. With GameStop, anything's possible. If I label this wave like precisely, it actually shows the wave 5 isn't finished yet, right? If I try to label this precisely. I would label it this way. I mean, maybe you could also do a 3. Maybe you do it like this, 3, 4. Maybe something like that. But I would be careful. It could extend. It could extend. And then it's off to the races. Isn't that something? See how quick this thing reversed? Right? How quick it reversed. Okay. All right, cool. So we got that one. All right, let's go back to some of your questions. Shopify. I did want to give an update on Shopify. So we got out of that a long time ago when we saw the technical warning sign. And again, if you were trading Shopify, it was a nice long opportunity, but then it negated that. So here was the long play right here. But as soon as we broke that low here, we got out of that. And then we knew we would get to deeper correction, and we did. So now we're looking for 54.48. But I'm telling you guys, you got to be really careful in this. Shopify is not, I'm not actually interested in buying it. Even though I show this, I won't buy it because I look at this is just 3 waves. And then if I look at the first leg, I'm forcing a flat here. I'm forcing a flat, but really could be just an A, B, C. And Shopify does a complete round trip and comes all the way back down to these levels down here, the $10 levels. So I don't like trading it. I just don't like trading it. I don't like this count. I just, to me, I don't like the look of it. I think you got to be very careful in it. It should have found support here. It didn't. This could be, hold on. Let me draw this here. A bear flag, false breakout, bear flag breaks down. So I would be really careful, guys. I mean, Shopify to me is just interesting to watch. But I mean, I show this, but I don't personally, I'm not going to buy it. But do what's best for you on that. Nvidia, let's take a look at Nvidia here. How's that doing? So Nvidia is interesting. This could be a 3, a 4, and then we finish 5, and then we pull back. It could also be another 1, 2. It's really tough to say. So that's why I wouldn't label it. But clearly, as long as it's above 754, I expect over 1,000 in Nvidia in the future. Okay. Yep, I appreciate that. I've taken the time. I have no problem doing that. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. Some interesting symbols. CLAB. Not really. Let's take a look at what those are. For me here, let's go to requested stocks. Okay, so Switzerland. All right, or Sweden. I mean Sweden. So the key here is to find the connector wave, and you don't have one. So this is the same corrective cycle. It's like here we're going to have to really look closely. We just don't have a lot of chart data on it. So it looks like it's moving in 3-wave sequences. And we're still in Y, that Y. So so it hit the buy area. Look at that. So it's a buy. It's a buy here. It's a buy. Yeah, this looks good. Let's look at the RSI on the higher time frame. Okay, I don't like that divergence. So this cycle is desperate to correct. It needs a bigger bounce. I think you're going to get it, but I bet that bounce is going to fail later. So I think this is like potentially a trade here, but I think the bounce is going to come and then it's going to fail at some point in the future. Okay, and actually it's an ABC. I would change the labeling on that. So that's how I look at it. And so to me it's ready to roll, but I think that bounce is going to fail like that. Okay. What's the next one here? TELIA. Okay, so we broke that low. It set up a much bearish move lower. So we should be going to 1346. I don't like trading it here. And again, this is due a bigger bounce, but it should fail. So that's how I look at that. It's got more downside. And FNOX. Hit our buy area, right? We got that buy. So now we're coming out and we'll just kind of clean that up a little bit. and then should continue higher in a flat. So this should, as long as it's above 40, but I believe it's just going to continue higher. Let's just check out one thing real quick. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of some of these 1-2s. It's just a little too bullish. We'll just kind of label it this way. Looking at that reset there. And then we're coming out. Okay. So I think that's kind of the cycle as I see it right now. All right, thanks. And let's see here. Let's see here. Next is ODD. Oh, we have that one already. No change, 1824. So it's just making its way down. OCGN. Looks like we got that X wave we wanted, and that looks like it should either have ended or end at any moment. And we get Y down. We're looking for 75 cents. Pod. Yeah, how's that doing these days? Got that X wave. Look at that. Boom. Now we're done. Y. We're looking for a double bottom in pod. So it looks like we're in Y. Looking for that double bottom. Great investment opportunity potentially with pretty much low risk on a 1-2 double bottom. Now, of course, we break that. It's game over for the pod. Pod's game over. Okay. Hey, great. You made money on sound. Cool. Yeah. I hope no one got shooken out on sound. I told you guys it was going to bounce like that. Now it's in another middle area that it could drop again or really pump in a 3 of 3. It's tough to say, but the Russell will help it. The power of the Russell will help that thing move higher. I looked at GME. You've got that. ULTA. Let's take a look at that. ULTA. Ultra Beauty. Yeah, I heard it was crashing. I don't know. Have we ever? We have never charted this on our channel. Yeah. It's probably grand super cycle. Is ended. That's typically what happens when you hear things are crashing, right? Probably another 1-2, 1-2. So not the end of the grand super cycle. I would label it as another 1-2. Like a flat. Typical flat. Those flats, man, really destroy traders and confuse them. So it's a flat 3, 3, and we're coming down. So the buy area for this company would be 317, 237 in this area. Now, it could be a run-in flat here. As you could see, it could be a run-in flat. The run-in flat here, and it may have already ended, but I don't think so. We don't have RSI reset. Let's take a look here. There's a chance looking at the chart that it could be actually a 1-2 setup like that even. So yeah, you'll have to decide what you want to do. You could buy that, stop here, buy it, buy more down here. But I do think it's got much more upside in the future coming. So it's tough call on this one, which one it's going to go to. All right, let's go to Let's take a look at BCG. I don't know. I would say that looking at the chart of BCHG, I'm just looking at the chart. So this is the reason I have this, like I want to see a bigger pump, is because if I don't do that, this will go all the way down to $4. And I think that's too low. I think that's too low. I mean, but maybe it's not. So that's why I have this box here. But I wouldn't be buy like if you guys are in here like, oh, I'm gonna buy it to get this and then short that, you're not doing it right. Like you should just like this area is just for your education purposes because there is no opportunity here. The opportunity is just to bring your popcorn and watch. The opportunity comes as if you get a dump to 4.99. There could be a short opportunity if we do come up into this area, but I think we're going to come higher. It's too bearish to say that this is done. Um, but what do I know? Why would it do it? Remember, there's a premium in here. There's a lot of other factors. You have to understand that. If you don't understand that, you need to read about it. This does not trade with the price of the coin. It sort of does, but I have seen these instruments go down and the coin goes up. I've seen the opposite happen. The premium is what drives the price of this, and I just can't tell you why one would do. Like I just can't tell you the reason behind why it would move. I'm just telling you what the chart says. I still think this is the chart, is what is showing me here. But if this doesn't play out and we do dump, then the B is in, and we're heading all the way down to $4 and make a full round trip. And that's the way it goes. But I would like to see a little more upside. That's all. Okay. Um, I try to do it around this time on Saturday, this channel. I try to do the live stream. It's my personal time I have free. It's just easier for me. I may travel Sundays. I'm traveling again to California tomorrow. Can't do live streams, and I got a lot going on in my life to do them. But like I said, maybe in the future I could do more of these and maybe devote more time to this channel. I already did Tesla, so you should get that. Let's look at NXT real quick. Let's take a look here. Not a lot of chart history. It looks like it's like a 1-2-1-2 of some kind. But this could also be a 3-4. So uh, yeah, we're breaking that low, and so it's coming down in 5. So it's coming down in 5. So that's not that. It more than likely isn't that. So this is corrective. It's corrective of some kind. Yeah, there's not enough chart history to really do it properly, but I believe we're in some kind of 1, 2. We'll do something like that. I can't label it because we don't, like I said, we don't have enough history to label it properly. Um, but I, but I think in general you'll get a bounce and a failure, and we'll see if 28 can hold. But it should be bouncing. It should be correcting this and bouncing pretty soon, and then we'll see what happens. Mara, yeah, let's take a look at Mara real quick. Mara here. Um, so again, we were looking for this X. I wanted it to go higher, and it still can, but it looks more than likely it's probably finished, given Bitcoin and what I'm seeing in crypto. But don't be fooled; it could still come up here. So it's again really tough to say, but I'm only a buyer of Mara at $8. This is sidelines. I'm not really playing around with it here. Now, if it does want to come back up to this area, that you could short that here potentially. Now, I wouldn't buy it here though. So I don't know. It's tough to say. GME gave GME already. Let's see here. Yeah, well, the forecast changes literally every day. Every day you have to be able to adjust your views based on the market action. Like you can't be fixated to one view. I know a lot of you follow people that never change. They don't have intellectual stop loss. They're always bullish, always bearish. They have a view in mind and they just don't change no matter the data. But Elliott Wave Sage always changes based on the view. And I know people hate that because it goes against your personal biases. But that's the only way I've been able to survive trading since 2004, guys. Because you have to change. I don't care whether I'm intellectually right or wrong. If energy takes out 88, I'm going to change my forecast and I'm going to change my trade in. If the dollar index goes to 106, I'm going to change. Like you got to change. You can't just be so fixated. So the view I have is based on the data I have in front of me and I trade that, right? You trade that. But you have to be able to change your view. You have to be able to change and you need to look at the data constantly to change. And if you, like I've always said, if you don't have an intellectual stop loss, you'll still lose all your money eventually one day. Just even because you won't you'll be too stubborn, even what the data is showing you. But right now, there's nothing to be bearish about in this market. The bull forecast is simple, guys. You have the dollar index on your side. You have bond market now on your side. You also have oil and energy on your side. All that is pushing the market higher. You have China on your side. And soon Tesla, a major growth stock, should be turning as well. So, and Apple looks like it's turning. So those are the tailwinds the market is supported against. Of course, there's a lot of headwinds out there, but they're not in control. The bears are not in control at this moment. But that can change. If that could change. If the dollar goes higher, oil goes higher, the rates go higher, things can change, and the view can change. So we just have to keep that in mind. All right, let's see net. Let's look at net here. Cloudflare. Okay. Yeah, I think that's one we haven't looked at in a while. Let's take a look at what's going on here. So we called that B wave pump, right? And we got it. Unfortunately, now you're in that. So that's all she wrote. I don't know why. Again, I don't follow these companies. I don't know what's going to go wrong, but obviously something really bad is going to go wrong, and it looks like it's already starting. So down she goes. All right. AVGO. Let's see if we've got that saved here. Okay, we got that A here. We got that B. And now that could be C right there. It's a 4. It could be a triangle as well. No, that's it. So I think the 4 is bottomed here. Okay. And then it should be in a 1, 2. It should be coming out of that for wave 5. And then a much bigger pullback in Broadcom. Something like that. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, what I'll do, Ronaldo, is like get on super chats. I've always given people the courtesy to answer whatever questions they want. I don't limit it unless it gets out of hand. But I would say that these kind of questions, the free ones, I just answer two symbols, and then I move on. So that's how I do it. So that's the way I've been running it, and I seem to get through everything, typically, or most. All right, but if it gets out of hand, even with the super chats, I may, as I get more followers, I may have to limit that as well, or put tiers, or something. Who knows? But I'll worry about that later. Let's take a look at EXK. EXK. Oh, silver. All right, cool. That's a new one. That's a new symbol. So it's probably like a silver miner junior or something. All right, let's take a look. Big picture. Yeah, this is what the silver miner charts look like. Looks like 5 down. That looks like 5 up here. Let's see here. Yeah, this is like a corrective structure, because I just have to label it as a corrective structure chart. I have to label, let's see, and then we're still in X. So it's got a lot of funky stuff going on in the chart, but I'd be looking for something like this pattern. I'm looking for the retest of the highs, but this is a tough pattern to label, but that's how I'd look at it. Yeah, see, that's how I look at it. Okay, so I think it's coming into the Y leg for many years of gains to come, but at some point there's a rug pull coming. But I could be wrong in this view. It just looks like to me it's going to do something like this. Now, perhaps it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is just 3. I would have to force an impulse. If I force the impulse, it would be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then out. So I don't like forcing the impulse because I just don't see it in the chart. But this looks a lot better for me. Something like this. Okay. All right. Let's take a look. See if I got any more. Let's take a look here. GRT. We don't have GRT labeled. I'm not sure if that's the crypto or not. I don't know. I would assume you mean the crypto, but you could put that in the comments later. Please, CCU and emerging. I like emerging markets, guys. I like emerging markets for upside. Was in the buy area, still in the buy area. Looks like it's 5 down here. Oh, I'm sorry, 3. Yeah, see, it really, what I'm going to do is just chart the wave sequence a little bit. That looks like 5 down in a connector. 1, 2. There's C. And then Here's W, something like that is what I'm thinking. So that's the play. That's how I'd look at that. Something like that. Okay. NAAS. Oh, I got it. Looks like I got a super chat that came in from Alex. I'll go ahead and jump to that. Novavax. Yeah, hey guys, Novavax. And that was a big move, right? But our channel actually predicted that move. And I hope somebody asked me Novavax, guys, and I hope you made a lot of money because we had this for predicted. I had this for here, just like this, and look, it hit it almost exactly. But now, unfortunately, I think we'll get a wave 5. I believe this will unwind and marginally break the low again, but then we'll get even a bigger pump later. That's my thinking. But I can't be wrong. The 4 can continue, but that's how I look at it. But it looks like to me three waves. If we could come back and take out $11, I think that would negate my view on that. But this is how I see it in Novavax. AMC. See here, looking for a 4 wave. So we, unlike GameStop, we're still stuck in this 5th wave, but we are going to get a bigger pump. It's going to happen. I just can't tell you when. We need this 5th wave to play out. Maybe one more low. One more low. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that could be it here. That could be it right there at 232. Keep an eye on AMC for a sympathy pump like GameStop. And that would be at 270 against 238. So if you could pick it up here, put a stop at like 240, maybe you hit a home, maybe you get lucky and hit a home run, you know, and play some of this wave 4. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Okay. All right. So I'm done. I'm out of time. I'm just going to scan through final comments. AMC definitely is almost at any moment with this low, but I think cycle low. I worry that we need some 4s and 5s to play out still. But we could look at the RSI sequence and get confirmation later when the monthly breaks. I think we need the monthly to break, right? Let's take a look here. So we did have a little bit, but let's go back to the quarterly. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it wants to turn. So it's a very stealth move. I think people are like trying to accumulate it here without pumping it in a very stealth way. But I think at some point, yeah. So I think maybe this 5 doesn't happen. So be careful. Yeah, you know, I would say just be careful, hoping for the 5 because maybe you won't get it, and then it just runs. So yeah, I think it's pretty soon. We're gonna get that move to finish this leg, and then finish it. So that would be that's what would have to happen. So yeah, I don't know, but it's probably pretty close. But I think we're gonna get a big pump and then one more low. That's I still think that. So we'll need to just wait and see. They don't always, you know, coins have their own news. They generally follow Bitcoin's trends, but they may to different degrees. I think the chart, I would say anonymous, you have to go with the chart I just gave you. That's not happening because the connector wave was too shallow. That's why I do not recommend trading these choppy areas. Um, as a trader, like my again, you have to. You guys are going to do what you want to do, but like you don't want to be in these areas. I call them middle because this is just so much chop. There's so many ways to label it. You'll never get all the combinations right. But the setups, the big swings on the higher time frame are much more safe and easier. But that means you don't trade every day. But I know some people, they got to trade every day. Like I watch these people on Twitter and they're always like constantly trading every single 24-hour day. They have to do something. But you don't. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to trade. But the more you trade, the more can go wrong because the market's unpredictable. This is just probability. So we wanted Mara to go higher. It didn't do it. So more than likely the X is in. Did I care? No. Was I like long? No. I would never buy anything here. I would buy it here. This is the setup. I want this. I want this. And then whatever happens here, I could care less. And I'm trading like once every 3 or 4 months this chart, and then I find something else another way. That's how I trade, guys. But if you're trying to trade every day, it's gonna be too difficult. You're gonna have it. It's gonna be too hard to say, hey, oh, it's here. I want to go to 24. It may not come here. And so you just have to wait. Now, if it does come to 24, you can short that. But if it's here, I'm not doing anything here. I'm not doing anything here. So it's just the way I would recommend you guys trade it on the higher time frames, the 4-hour daily cycle. The guys that are trading like every day, every single move, it's really tough. It's really tough to do that. But my system is more geared to these types of trades. So that's how I'd recommend it, guys. But yeah, this the data changes, you change, right? But this is never this has been here for the last 4 months, like since March. We've had this, so this isn't going anywhere. So this will stay here, but this could change. It could go up tomorrow and down, but I'm not. There's no trade here. This is just, the trade is Tesla, guys. The trade is Tesla right now. Next week, the trade's Tesla. Maybe Bitcoin again. That's the trade. This is no trade. This is I don't even care. Mara could care less about Mara and these other ones in the middle. MicroStrategy. I could care less about these guys. This is going to be traders losing their money. You got to look for the setups. Because what if MicroStrategy could be done here? It may not come up. It could come up, but we don't know. So you just gotta trade the 3-leg setup. So you have a 3-leg setup and you buy. That's how you do it. A 3-leg setup and you buy on a higher time frame, and those are much lower risk, higher reward, and low stress because you're not having to like check the market every single day and oh my God, the price went up and went down. I'm shaking out. You just can't. I just can't operate like that. Guys, I can't operate like that. But I know there's other systems that probably know how to deal with that kind of trading. But that's not my system. That's not the way I've been doing it. So if you're trying to use the way I trade to trade like that, it won't work. It's just not going to work. So you just it's going to work, guys. Unfortunately. All right. So let's go to something else here. Yeah, I mean that's the logical target, right? 50%. Yes, GME finished a corrective move, so actually it could break the all-time highs. Wouldn't that be something? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? Wouldn't that be something? Um, Coincidentally, I'm on MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy, I still like to see one more move higher in the connector wave because to me it's too bearish. But if it is B, it will. I do think though, whatever happens here, it's got another leg lower, and this is the leg I want to buy. I do not want to buy here or anywhere in this area. Let's take a look. I've seen an article about Warren Buffett indicator. Yeah, I mean it's pretty high, right? I mean the grand super cycle should come to an end, a year or so from now. I have 600. It could be lower. It could be 560 somewhere. So yeah, I mean the market's days are numbered. I mean looking at this market like from this standpoint. Now that's looking at it from this standpoint. Okay. Of course, there's always other options, but for right now, that's the way it looks. I don't worry about the Warren Buffett indicator, but yeah, it is pretty stretched. But they could keep printing money, guys, and make it more stretched. Just keep printing, right? Spending, printing. Dollar deflates. I mean, inflates, right? The dollar index falls against currency. Like, then it just is going to keep going higher, and the Warren Buffett index will get even more extreme. All right. Um, there's a lot of information on the internet, Andre. A lot of free information. There's a lot of Elliott wave information out there. I just Google it, and there is there is some services out there. They're paid services that you can learn more about, and then there's free content. And I would say like one that comes to mind that I like is Elliott Wave International, Elliott Wave Forecast, um, and some others out there. But you also learn a lot by just following traders, Elliott Wave traders, and they're out there. Just got to Google it, follow them, and just watch and learn, and then you pick up your technique. Okay, guys, that's all I'm gonna do today. Appreciate it, and good luck trading next week. Big news event. Um, I think how we come out in a news event is how we trade into it. I think if we trade down into the event, we're really setting ourselves up for a bull come out of that bullish. But if we do pump into it, then I would be